On to some breaking developments coming in. A rocket has landed close to Kabul's Hamid Karzai International Airport soon after the arrival of US Defence Secretary James Mattis and the NATO Secretary General. No casualties have been reported for now. A rocket landing near the Kabul Airport there. Just to contextualize this is just soon after the arrival of the US Defence Secretary James Mattis and the NATO Secretary General. As per the latest that's coming in, no casualties have been reported, but certainly an incident which we are tracking very closely as we speak. According to the Afghan government, no casualties have been reported due to that attack. Let's go straight across to our international correspondent, Daniele Pagani, joining us for more on this. Daniele, what more do we have at this point?
What we know so far is, even we have very limited details, is that the rocket, perhaps an RPG, which is a rocket-propelled grenade, which is one of perhaps the most common weapons available on the Afghan black market, together with the AK-47, landed close to the Hamid Karzai Airport in Kabul. There are no casualties reported right now. The significant part of these rocket launch is that it happens exactly when James Mattis is visiting Afghanistan and the CEO of Afghanistan, Dr. Abdullah, is visiting India, right after General Mattis visited India. No casualties reported for the time being. We don't know how distant from the airport the rocket landed. We still do not know the damage. This is a breaking news. We will keep track on this. Certainly this is a further testimony of the fact that Kabul is not a safe spot in Afghanistan anymore. It has been for years sort of a safe bubble in a very, very problematic country, but since, I would say, at least 3 years, this is not the case anymore.
Also, the timing of this attack and this rocket landing near the Kabul airport there, Daniele, coming just soon after that unannounced visit to Kabul by the US Defence Secretary James Mattis and the NATO Secretary General. Also, soon after the US had unveiled the Afghanistan strategy in late August. So all of this, of course, pointing towards, as you mentioned, how unrest continues in Kabul. The situation remains tense. This is, of course, an extremely sensitive piece of information that we are getting for our viewers at this point. Only preliminary details emerging of that attack that has taken place. Of course, Daniele, the timing of this rocket just soon after the arrival of the US Defence Secretary James Mattis there, the messaging there, of course, coming out through.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't come as a surprise that the many terrorist groups active within Afghanistan, the Taliban, the Islamic State, the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, Al-Qaeda, none of them obviously accepted with a warm welcome the visit of both the Secretary of Defense of the United States, James Mattis, and the NATO chief, Mr. Stoltenberg. Let's not forget that the United States just decided to send at least 3,000 more troops in Afghanistan, a place where US troops are less and less welcomed over the years and over the months. So it's obviously easy to understand that it could have been any one of these groups trying to attack the airport. Of course, not achieving it. It's a very safe area. It's not easy. In order to get close to the airport, one has to cross several parking slots which are pretty big. You have to walk nearly 600 meters or so. Launching an RPG which has a more or less effectiveness of 500 meters is not easy, also because you cannot get to the gate of the airport and launch an RPG missile. It's not exactly a weapon that you can carry without getting noticed. So This was perhaps more of a symbolic attack, but the symbolism is quite strong. It means, practically speaking, that the NATO, the US are not welcome in Afghanistan.
I was just coming to that. Stay with me, please, Daniele. Let's also get in further perspectives on the broadcast. Joining us is Sharif Hassanyar, who is an Afghanistan expert. So what do you make of the timing, of course, coming just after the arrival of James Mattis and the NATO Secretary General there, this rocket landing near Kabul Airport? Mr. Hassanyar?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. I was
yes, 10 minutes later, a rocket was landed in the near the Kabul International Airport. Essential report says that the police said there is no casualties in the rocket attack. But let me make it clear that early morning, Secretary Mattis, Defense Minister for the United States of America, arrived in Kabul. At the meantime, Secretary of NATO, Jens Mattis, arrived in the Kabul. And they are now in the palace. They will held a press conference with President Ghani in 20 minutes.
Mr. Hassaniar, as we've been discussing, the symbolism coming through from this attack, of course, coming in just after the arrival of James Mattis and the NATO Secretary General there, the messaging that's coming through, sir, that the US and NATO are not welcome, of course, after US also unveiled that Afghanistan strategy.
Yeah, actually, Secretary Mattis arrived from New Delhi to Kabul early morning today. And main point for this discussion is the new strategy of use towards region security Afghanistan, and also the discussion between President Ghani and the NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg is about the NATO mission in Afghanistan. As NATO said that you're supporting the rule of the US inside Afghanistan, and you're supporting the new strategy of the US inside Afghanistan.
Right, so the fact that this attack takes place just after the arrival. Now, it's also important to highlight here, sir, that this was an unannounced visit by James Mattis. Since you are getting us the very latest, what, according to you, is the impetus for that visit at this time?
I think this is the message for the Taliban, for the Secretary of Pakistan, the Secretary of NATO, that they are now in the Kabul. I'm sure that the Taliban is responsible for that one, and it's their responsibility. If there is no claim from the Taliban side that they should take the responsibility of that, it will come maybe after an hour that the Taliban will take the responsibility. But the area which the rocket was landed, that was an interior. There is no casualties in that area.
All right, Mr. Hassaniar, getting us the very latest and also further perspectives on that attack which has taken place. We're going to leave it there for the moment. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, sir, and also thanking Daniele Pagani for getting us the very latest on those breaking developments.